Yo, we're back. We are back after one day off. What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here on the stream. Gonna stream about stuff. So let's see. Last week, on the last episode, we were going through some of this stuff. Intro to compositing and how to bring in EXRs. We had an EXR that we were playing around with, looking at how to destruct that thing so that it would work as compositing layers inside of Fusion. And you know what? Just to oh yeah, we made the little composited truck with the explosion on top of it. That was actually pretty sweet. Let's start a new project here today. This is day 16. Woo! Am I live? Yeah, I'm live on Twitch, live on YouTube. Says I've got one chat rate. I think it might be just the little pop-up thing, but I want to check real quick. I want to make sure I'm not missing any anything on YouTube. Although I should be getting should be able to see if someone messages in YouTube. So let's see. Latest live stream, we're on stream. Today is the 20th of February. And let me go to my page real quick. I don't know. I think it's good. Looks good. Alright, cool. Whatever. Hopefully it shows up in OBS. Little plug-in here. But anyways, let's get started. Gotta ease into things. Got a day away. I think it's a good idea just to get reading. Getting situated. Compositing. I think today is more about compositing, but I have a plan for what to do. We might be stretching our minds, reading one thing, but practicing another. All right, so this chapter is 79. One other thing.
Actually turn it off.
Pulling up Twitch. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any chats on Twitch either. The stream manager. All right, cool. Pop this chat out. Now we're good. Now we're good. Okay, let's go. So, compositing layers in Fusion. This chapter is intended to give you a solid base for making the transition from a layer-based compositing application to Fusion's node-based interface. It provides practical information about how to start structuring a node tree for simple layered composites. Okay. That's what we weren't sure about doing last episode. So the contents for this, we're going to be going through applying effects, compositing two clips together, creating and using text, building a simple green screen composite. So applying effects. Also, I want to check like 20 pages. That should be good for today's episode. Applying effects. Before we dive into multi-layered composites, let's start by looking at some very simple effects and build up from there. Opening the effects library, then clicking the disclosure control to the left of the tools. So tools, 3D, or tools, and then effects. So let's get started with a comp. I'll change this to be a little easier to view. Close this. And this. The intense focus of that guy. He's locked into the edit. All right, so we got, let's make a tool. We go to the effects, toolbox effects. We throw a fusion clip in there. Still haven't confirmed this. It needs to be done, but just to be super safe, I'm currently putting it up into the media pool and then bring it back in. And then we hop into the fusion page and good to go. And okay, so applying effects. We can open the effects tab over here and sift through some of them. If we go to tools, twirl that down, we can see effect and skim through the effects. Maybe make that a little larger, easier to see. These are some of the built-in effects that you can add and composite and combine. Some blurs, composite, deep pixel effect. So opening the effects library, then clicking the disclosure control to the left of tools reveals a list of categories containing all the nodes available in Fusion. As mentioned before, each node does one thing, and by using these nodes in concert, you can create extremely complex results from humble beginnings. Clicking the effect category reveals its content. In this example, we'll use the TV effect. All right, let's also bring in, let's see if I can find a clip for us to play around with. Looking through our media bin, the aptitude folder. Anything here that we haven't played around with yet? Or should we go back to Envato and kind of look around for some material? But our dancing astronaut. I don't know about the moves on this guy though. Let's bring it in. I don't know about this. I don't know about this guy. His arm, like, I don't know if you can trust somebody whose shoulder is just so clearly out of place, and yet they're still dancing their hearts out. I mean, I don't know, maybe you should trust that type of person more. But if we bring in a media, we got another media in here. And then we can do a very easy, straightforward, obvious effect. Film, their example, effect, TV. What? Maybe this is from the edit page? But this looks like, effect, this is in the Fusion TV node. Where's the TV node? Film grain, Cineon, TV node. Let's try TV. Oh, okay. So since they've written that, it's in a different place. But that is definitely the TV effect. Scan lines, right? Where was that? Curious. Then if what? I was just missing it. Oh, I had something in the search. Anyways, here it is. TV effect with scan lines, and you can make horizontal. Oh, not there. We can modify this to give it that TV glitch effect. Keyframe these. Adding a node to the tree. Assuming that the media in node in the Fusion page of, or the loader node in Fusion Studio is the currently selected node in the node editor, clicking once on the TV node, for example, in the effects library automatically adds that node to the node tree to the right of the selected node. In the Fusion page, it immediately takes effect in the viewer thanks to the fact that the media out node is what's loaded in the viewer. Since that means that all nodes upstream of the media out node will be processed and shown. In Fusion Studio, we're not using that. So editing parameters in the inspector. To improve an effect, you can make an adjustment to a node's parameters in the inspector at the right. Just like what we just saw. The selected node shows its controls in the inspector, in which most nodes have several tabs. Okay, this is straightforward stuff that I think we already know. Clicking the last panel on any node opens the settings panel. Yep. In the case of the TV effect, for example, the resulting image has a lot of transparency because the scan lines being added are also being added to the alpha channel, creating alternating lines. Oh, turning off. Okay, that's cool. That's cool to know. That would have been a... Some things, they're so simple once you read it, just make that connection, but I was not considering that the way to make those not cause transparency is you turn off the alpha channel on the effect. Straightforward. Cool. Replacing nodes. In the effect category of the effect library, you'll also find a highlight node that adds glints to the highlights of an image. Instead of clicking the highlight node, which would add it after the currently selected node, dragging and dropping a node from the effects library on top of a node in the node editor replaces that node. Yeah, so this is all stuff that we've read. But just to demonstrate, you could add a blur on top. I was holding shift while I did that to get it to replace. Same deal, you could press shift and that replaces it back. Huh, cool that it retained that. Wait, I want to see it. If raise. Oh, interesting. So if I use another effect, though, it will have the settings the same. Oops. Not the right window. In our example, the highlight 1 node takes the TV's node place in the node tree, and the new effect can be seen in the viewer, which is, in this example, is the of a star highlights the lights in the image. Cool. All right. So that adjusting Fusion sliders, but that's also a small little note right there, which is that if you are going to do that, you have to be mindful that if you turned these channels on or off, they're going to retain that. The settings carry over. That's kind of tricky. In our example, the highlight one node takes the TV node's place in the node tree. Yeah. So adjusting Fusion sliders, straightforward stuff. All right, we don't even need to. Are there any pro tips though? Those are always good. In this case, the number 24 is maxed out, but you can still type in a thing and it will give you some additional space to adjust the numbers, sequence, the compositing two clips together. As entertaining as it is adding individual notes to create simple effects, eventually you'll need to start adding additional layers of media in order to merge them together as composites. Let's turn our attention to another example in which we need to combine a background clip with a foreground clip. And that includes a built-in alpha channel to see simple layering actions. Adding additional media in composites. You'll often find that even though you start out wanting to do something relatively simple, you end up adding additional media to create the effect that you need. In the Fusion page, this is Fusion Studio. In the Fusion page, you can open the media pool and drag clips directly to the node editor to add them to your node tree. If you drag a clip from the media pool to an empty area of the node editor, you'll add an unconnected media 2 node. Always increments in that way, +1, that you can then connect in any way you want. Automatically creating merge nodes. If you want to connect the incoming clip immediately to your node tree as the top layer or foreground of a composite, in Fusion Studio, we're not using that. In the Fusion page, drag the new clip from the media pool right on top of any connection lines. Oh, and it will add a merge for you. Do we have some footage that we could merge? Let me see. I think I do have maybe a folder here that's got some compositable effects that we could throw into this thing that we're starting with. If I go to here, film, here we go. Okay. So previously I had this saved in Smart Bins. I'm gonna put this on my desktop, I guess. Okay, whatever. Put this on my whatever. Throw it on the desktop, I guess. And we can throw it into this comp. I just yeet them into the project, what happens? Oh god. Oh no. Yeah, no, that light leaks, and then I can put them in smart bins like this. What if I just put it like that? Okay. Power bins, they're the thing, man. They are the thing. Action hits, light leaks, light leaks. All right, so we got some effects here. And I'll remove this from the project because you can just drag it straight from a folder on the computer straight into Power Bins, and then it's saved and referenced in all your projects. So I'll remove the Power Bins folder here. Just remove bin. Okay, now we're clean. And so we've got a simple effect here. Raise. turn it down a little bit. Actually, what happens if it's effect? Turn this down. I think it's just. Actually, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. That's like the right effect for this dude. Ah! Cool. And we could. Oh, I like that, man. Even doing anything? No. So whatever decay is. Oh! Exposure. Put it, there we go. Okay. And threshold? No, that matters. Alright, cool. And what was I doing? I got some clips here now in my power bins. So again, power bins are cool because they persist through all your projects. I'm going to put an asset from the power bin straight onto the node tree, and it's going to composite with a merge node thingamajig. So let's see if we have alpha clips. I guess that means it will. Oh, and I messed up with remove this bin, I duplicated it. Oh, I really don't have many alpha clips. Might head over to Envato and try to start organizing a resource pool asset library. Let's see, but I need some things that I can throw onto this timeline. Action, hit effects. Oh, that's a plugin. That gets removed as well. So really all we have is some compositable fire that we could throw on if we do that. Yep, just like they were saying. It's thrown in as a merge. Oh, I think it's cool though. We're gonna have the, looks like the alpha channel was provided pre-made for us, so we can do compositing with that. But let's see if we're able to figure out a way to do this. Okay, we did it. There you go. Composited. So we throw it on top our media source on the node line, and then it will automatically add a merge. And the node editor is filled with shortcuts like this to help you build your composites more quickly. Here's one for when you have a disconnected node that you want to composite against another node with a merge node. If you have a disconnected node like we have here, we're gonna composite these together. We could just put them like that. And now there's some sort of way that these two, you can composite these two in some way. I think it's an inverse. I don't know how to do this one. But this currently is the thing on the background. Maybe we want to use this as the alpha channel, or the alpha subtract, or like the mask. Kind of basic compositing. But for example, yeah, this is all white, and so we can use this one as the alpha mask channel, the alpha channel. Let's click buttons over here. This might not be right, but let's see if this does it. No. Put this here. In, like subtract over. No, subtractive. No. Oh. Mask. I just watched Oppenheimer, and that song is just repeating in my head. I feel like I'm about to make a breakthrough. Okay, it's none of those. Okay, let's go back to the manual here. So yeah, so if you don't bring it straight from the timeline onto your line like this, if it's just here and you want to connect it, you can put it over like that. Okay, basic stuff. So adding clips to a Fusion composition from the file system. If you drag clips from the file system directly into your nodes editor, they'll be added to the Davinci Resolve media pool automatically. So if you have a library of stock animated background textures and you've just found one you want to use using your filing system search tools, you can simply drag it straight into the node editor and it'll be added to the currently selected bin of the media pool. Fixing problem edges in a composite. Most often the merge node does a perfectly good job when handed a foreground image with a pre-multiplied alpha transparency, which is what we have. We just have to figure out what the basic thing to do here is. So to composite against a solid background image. However, from time to time you may notice a small bit of fringing at the edge of a border of a foreground element and transparent areas, such as seen in the following close-up. This slight lightening at the edge is a telltale. I always thought this was tall tale. Telltale. Is it? Man. Okay, no, I have to know. Is it tall tale or telltale? Tell me, Google. Please. What? Look at what it told me. It came up with some code. I said, is it tall tale or telltale? And then Google Bard, I guess, is like, the following Python code answers this query. Not that Python is, note that what? What? The following Python code answers this query. Import. Okay, first step, in order for us to figure this out, we're going to have to import this RE, and then we have to define is tall tailed, and we have to return a bool. Wow, we're really getting derailed. And then print is telltale. Executing the above code yields the following answer: true, false. There you have it, guys. That's the answer we were looking for. Okay, Cora's picking up the slack. They're like, okay, let me step in here, clarify some things. Some unanimously voted upon per contributor was like, the most common form is telltale, although some dictionaries also show telltale. Oh, so it's definitely not tall tale. All right, that was just me. Okay. So fringing, a bit of fringing at the edge of a foreground element surrounded by transparency. You gotta click to select the merge node for that particular composite and look for the subtractive additive slider. Drag the slider all the way to the left. To the subtractive position, and the fringing disappears. Oh, so if you see fringing, just crank this subtractive additive to the left. Fix the fringing, hopefully. And then the subtractive additive slider, which is only available when the apply mode is set to normal, controls whether the normal mode performs an additive merge or subtractive merge. Okay, wait, so this, within these words is our answer to how to properly do this. So if the operator is set to subtractive, hold up. Okay, so maybe we should read the words. The subtractive additive, which is only available when the apply mode is set to normal, controls whether the normal mode performs an additive or subtractive merge, or a blend of both. This slider defaults the additive merge to additive merging, which assumes that all input images with alpha transparency are pre-multiplied, which is usually the case. If you don't understand the difference between additive and subtractive merging, here's a quick explanation. An additive merge with the slider all the way to the right is necessary when the foreground image is pre-multiplied, meaning that the pixels in the color channels have been multiplied by the pixels in the alpha channel. The result is that transparent pixels are always black. Since any number multiplied by 0 is always 0. This obscures the background by multiplying with the inverse of the foreground alpha, and then simply adds the pixels for the foreground. So that's an additive merge. And then a subtractive merge with the slider all the way to the left, it is necessary if the foreground image is not pre-multiplied. The compositing method is similar to an additive merge, but the foreground image is first multiplied by its own alpha to eliminate any background pixels outside the alpha area. Okay, but how do we just get this? How do we make this transparent? That's what I want to know. We have the pieces here. If I apply mode, screen, not screen. It's not even subtractive. No. 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 Subtract. Ah, man, I gotta look this up. I think this is actually, let's go back to Bard. The answer Bard gave before was pretty solid. So I'm gonna ask Bard, which is now called Gemini. I'm gonna ask Gemini, excuse me, how do I remove the alpha? How do I remove an alpha mask from a from footage? I have the black and white matte and the color footage. I don't know if that made sense. A lot of the times it's like if you can properly just explain the question, you can figure it out. I don't think I'm explaining this correctly. Yeah. There are a few ways to remove an alpha mask from footage, depending on what editing software you're using. If you have a black and white matte and color footage separately, inverting the matte and composite it over the footage. Invert the matte. If your editing software doesn't have advanced keying features, it's not that. It's that we can get a proper matte of it this way, I believe. One that's better than keying it out, I think. The whole point. You can try this simple method. Invert the colors of the black and white matte. Turn black to white. and then composite it over your footage using a blending mode like multiply or linear. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, that is an idea that I think we can try right away. So let's have it. This one is the one on top. And all we got to do, I mean, do I have to run it through an invert node? Invert. Okay. And now we can do multiply. Oh, yeah. Darken. Oh, that's cool, though. That's not what I was... That's not correct. Oh! That's not right, but it's cool. This is cool, but it's not really there yet. Subtractive? Oh, it's on... Nope. Nope. Okay. Normal, lighten, color dodge? Wow, okay, that's kind of cool as well. But it's not right. But it's cool. That might be the coolest. But if I do, maybe I don't need this invert after all. Well, that's not it. Huh. Kind of cool though. Linear dodge, what is this? Lighter color, overlay. Overlay! Nope. No. No. Okay, Gemini. Invert the matte and composite it over the photo. Multiply or linear dodge. There's linear burn, linear dodge. Then let's try hypotenuse. Multiply. Huh. Okay. And then if you have footage with the alpha mask already applied, alpha mask. Interpret the footage to ignore the alpha mask. In some software, like After Effects, you can right-click and do Interpret Footage. Find the alpha section and choose Ignore instead of Pre-Mult. Then use third-party, which there are some third-party plugins available for various editing software that specifically remove alpha masks. These plugins might offer more advanced features or workarounds. Here are some additional things to keep in mind. The quality of the matte will affect the result. I think we should continue reading here. I don't know. Feels a little brain farty for me. I mean, maybe I just don't know how to do this. So, but an additive merge with the slider all the way to the right is necessary when the foreground is pre-multiplied. Subtract. But the thing is that I think I should be seeing the background as, let's see, if I just add a background here, make it an obvious color, make it this green, and where we have to put it, where do we put this? Where do we put this in the node tree? If we're gonna have a background color that we want to be able to shine through, oh, because possibly right now we just have black. It might be transparent. Let's see if I just put this, we would know if it was working, wouldn't we? Or would we? This is getting silly. All right, let's keep reading here. I'll take a note. Or does it work? No. Using composite modes in the merge node to create a more convincing, let me check. Oh, so composite. Blending between the two is occasionally useful for dealing with problem composites that have edges that are calling attention to themselves or as either too bright or too dark. For example, using subtractive merging on a pre-molt image may result in darker edges. Whereas using additive merging with a non-pre-molt image will cause any area, non-black area outside the foreground's alpha to be added to the result, thereby lightening the edges. By blending between additive and subtractive, you can tweak the edge brightness. Using composite modes in the merge node. To create a more convincing composite in layer-based systems, you often use blend modes. Blend modes are located in the merge node, since that is where one layer gets composted over another. Let's take an example where you want to use the screen mode to make a foreground image look more like a reflection. The merge node has a variety of controls built into it for creating just about every compositing effect you need. Items you may be familiar with as blend modes are located in the apply mode pop-up. You can use these mathematical compositing modes to combine the foreground and background layers together. A blend slider allows you to fade the foreground input with the background. Note, the subtract additive sliders disappear when you choose any other apply mode options besides normal, because the math would be invalid. This isn't unusual. There are a variety of controls in the inspector that hide themselves when not needed or when a particular input isn't connected. The screen node is perfect for simulating reflections, and lowering blend a bit lets you balance the foreground and background images. It's subtle, but helps sell the shot. Tip: you may have noticed that the merge node also has a set of flip center. Oh, here we go. Flip center, size, and angle, just the regular controls that you can use to transform the foreground image without needing to add a dedicated transform node. It's a nice shortcut for simplifying node trees large and small. Creating and using text. In this next example, we'll look at how to create a simple text object using the text plus node. Then we'll see how to use the text generator's alpha channel in another image to create a more complex composite. Creating text using the text plus node. The text plus node is the primary tool for creating 2D text in the Fusion page. If you are using Davinci Resolve, this is also the same text plus generator available in the edit page. It is easily accessible right in the toolbar. Simple stuff, really, just like normal. We've already kind of seen the text plus tool. Actually, I was going to work some in there today. I think I'll still do think I'll still do that. So selecting a text node opens the default text panel parameters in the inspector. And it also adds a toolbar at the top of the viewer with tools specific to that node. Clicking on the first tool at the left lets you type directly into the viewer, or you can type into the styled text field in the inspector. If you're viewing the merge, the text appears in the viewer superimposed against the black background clip. Yeah, so we know how the text tool works. Is this any new? This is old information. Compositing. So that's okay. So we're just talking about basic how nodes work. Holding down the command key while dragging any control in the inspector gears down the adjustment so that you can make smaller and more gradual adjustments. That's the kerning. Oh, okay. Here, let's do that. Let's bring some fire on screen, but also let's throw our text plus. Let's put the text plus, let's merge them together. This thing is the background, yep. And for the text to show up, we gotta fire. And let's change this to something that's kind of fire-esque-y. Oh, you know what? Let's run with this white fire. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. This one we're gonna switch to. What was it? How did we have was it multiplied? No. Not darken. Center that. It wasn't darken. What was it? It was definitely not color burn. Lighten? Yeah. That's cool. And this text, fire. That's a big image. Let's make it cool text, and just because I can't see, make an outline for it. Make the outline black, standard. Make the text bigger. Yeah. Shading, this. Oh, whoops. Change. We might actually go with a gradient here. Select one of these colors in here. How about like this. And this one we can select as that. Cool. And then now let's just add a black outline. This is gonna be cool. Yep. Sweet. We could just match the outline of the fire. So maybe instead of an outline, or make the outline super small, super thin, and then add a shadow that's right on top of it. It's gonna look cool. But I have to figure out how to get the position. Nope. Rotation, size? Is that it? No, that's right. Not the size, not the rotation. It's gonna be this. This is it, right? Huh? Huh? Oh, offset. That's what it is. That's what I was looking for. I mean, if I have a 0 offset, it's basically like a glow. If I make it larger, 10, 10. But I need more. Opacity, composite. Oh, that's right. Don't I have to change this? Something? Okay. That is pretty much what I was going for. Cool. And then what are we doing here? Oh yeah, just exploring some of the text tool options that we have. So looking down here, allow typing in preview window. This is allow manually positioning. Okay, good to know. No text outline. Text outline outside frame only. Okay, wait, what's this one do? I don't get what this one does. No text, okay. But it looks like there's outlines. And then this is text outline outside frame only. And this is show text outline always. Oh, I guess that's the outlines they're talking about? Yep. Okay. And then for kerning, they're saying that's kind of how to mess with the kerning if you want. And hand drag it, or you can nudge it. No? If I hold, how do I straighten? Okay, if I hold Alt, it keeps it on the same line. Okay. Using text as masks. This might lead to the answer that I had to the question before, which was how do I just properly composite, period. But if we use using text as a mask, you can fill the text with a color or gradient, or you can use the text as a matte to cut the letters out of another image. First, we'll drag another clip of a chalkboard covered with math from the media pool to the node editor as a disconnected media in2 node, disconnecting and reconnecting nodes. If we start from the previous example that had a media in as the background and the text plus as the foreground to emerge, we'll need to do a little rearranging. Clicking the last half of the connection from the text1 node to the merge foreground input disconnects it. Okay. And then connecting, oh, is that really all it is? Is this what I think, is this the answer? Oh my. I think that was it, right? That was it. Was it? Okay, keep reading. Okay, but for this example, we could do this. We just go like that. And we switch. What? So this is our text. If this text goes into the background and this text goes as the mask, then we should be seeing I need a primer. I need to like I thought I knew this stuff. Guess I don't. Media into the mask. Right? Matte control. Oh my god, there's a node. Okay, let's take off this. We're gonna put alpha matte multiply. We're gonna figure this out. We are gonna figure this out. Let's see. Matte. See. There. This is what I want. I think instead of a merge here, this is supposed to be matte control. This one's going into the background. We want to subtract this from that. And then, yeah, so let's see if we get this. Line is inverse subtract. Damn. I think that should be working. Inverse subtract. Add nothing. Switch these. Bruh. Clear. Oh. Oh. Using Mac controls. Jeez, this part. Oh, it's so easy. Using Mac controls, select the Media in 2 node, and click the Mac control button in the toolbar to add it between the Media 2 and the merged 1. To tidy up, I've moved the nodes around a bit in the screenshot. The Mac control node has numerous uses. Among them is taking one or more alpha channels, mattes or images that are connected to the garbage matte solid, or foreground inputs, combining them and using the resulting as the alpha channel for the image that's connected to the background input. It's critical to make sure that the image you want to add an alpha channel to is connected to the background input of the Mac control. Man, I thought I knew this stuff. I guess I didn't. That's connected to the background input of the Mac control node, or the Mac control node won't work. So it's critical to make sure that the image you want to add an alpha channel to, I want to add an alpha channel to, I want to add, disconnect this, this media 3, I want to add this. I want to subtract the black here. Or like cut out, I want to use the white to cut out this, and what should be left is take out the black background. And I think this needs to be done because this is the way to get it so that it's like the colors aren't changed. It's just taken from the image without any like changes to the blend mode. It's not like altered in that way. So with this done, connecting the text plus node's output, which has the alpha channel, to the mat control node's garbage mat input is a shortcut we can use to make a mask, mat, or alpha punch out of a region of transparency in an image. Keep in mind that it's easy to accidentally connect to the wrong input because inputs rearrange themselves depending on what's connected and where the node is positioned, and frankly the colors can be hard to keep track of when you're first learning, as I'm demonstrating. It's key to make sure that you always check the tooltips associated with the input you're dragging the connection over to make sure that you're really connecting to the correct one. If you don't, the effect won't work, and your effect isn't, and if it's not working, the first thing you should always check whether it's connected to the right place. So one alternate method of connecting nodes together is to hold down the Option key while dragging a connection from one node's output and dropping it onto the body of another node. This opens a pop-up menu from which you can choose the specific input you want to connect to by name. Note that the menu only appears after you've dropped the connection on the node and released your pointing devices button. Once the text1 node is properly connected to the mat controls node garbage mat input, that is what I'm looking for, right? Garbage mat. And so if we have this thing, this is what I want to drag it to, right? Connected as a garbage mat? No. Okay, wait, let's try that again though. Connected as a solid mask? No. I think it is. Wait. If we invert this, and now if we do it as garbage mat, this is coming in as the background. This is coming in as the foreground. On top. So if this was set up properly, we would just have the black as a cutout here, but we're not doing that quite right. But let's see, if I just, let's try another mat control. Mat control. Delta here. Clean plate? Because it's not common that you have that pure black? Doop a doop boop, ba doop a doop a doop boop. Figuring things out on stream. Yeah, that's me right now, doing math. Okay, let's try and replicate this for the sake of little win before we go on a little quick break. Our 5-minute break, kind of over. Matte control, close the clean plate. We're gonna put this in. We're gonna put, you know what? We're just gonna put this in. Then we're gonna put this in like that. Connect these up. That wasn't quite right. We're gonna use this as the, oops. We're gonna use this as the garbage mat. Garbage mat. Okay, small dub. Garbage mat, no. Okay. All right, 5-minute break. BRB. Yo, what's up? We back. Okay, what in the world is going on with this? Schooled. I'm getting schooled today. At least we got this punch through effect going through the Mac control. We just simply set the text as the garbage mat on this thing. That's kind of cool. Man, I feel like this should work. With this one, it's set as a subtract or an add or a inverse subtract. I feel like that should be the one that does it. Bill? No. Nope. Customizing mat control nodes. You can use the inspector to change some parameters to get the result you want. In the inspector controls for the mat control node, revealing the garbage mat controls exposes parameters for modifying how the garbage mat input is applied. In the image, to the image. For example, you can choose to have the text mask filled with the image instead of the cutting. Yeah, just like we demonstrated. Using transform controls in the merge node. You've got transform controls in the merge node. For quick and easy adjustments, when connecting two images of different sizes to a merge node, the resolution of the background images defines the output. That's important to remember. And then you can use the size slider to resize the foreground. Schooled, that was me. I just got schooled. Building a simple green screen composite. Taking another step forward in compositing, the next example shows how you can equate a multi-layered timeline like the one in Davinci Resolve's edit page to nodes in Fusion's node tree. We'll use Davinci Resolve, but understanding how layers map to nodes can be helpful for anyone new to dealing with node-based interface. In this example, we'll create a simple composite green screen using a green screen key, and two other layers to create a news story. Mapping timeline layers to nodes in Fusion. This composite involves 3 layers in the timeline. The timeline consists of a background graphic on video track 1. You know what? I think I'm going to follow along with this and set this up. I'm going to go to Envato, and look for a green screen actor clip, stock video, green screen. And we got looking at some footage here. Person on green screen. Young businesswoman. I think that one. That might be the one that we should play around with. But let's see. Let's keep looking a little bit more. Yeah. This one, because it reminds me of myself. That could be taken out of context, but whatever. Because I've done something similar. What is this? Day 16 stuff. Oh, this is in the wrong place. This should be. Okay, let's just put it here. And then we need some background footage. How about this is probably we need like some boxing ring or MMA. We have like a dynamic, or if we got like UFC footage, or this guy. Let's get this guy. Okay, we'll save that. And then what else do we need? Some additional graphics. How about we could probably just look on Google for how about like I don't know. Do not fight sign. No fighting. Okay, let's just get one graphic just to do this demonstration. If it's looking good, we could build it out a little further. No fight. I don't want any of this watermarked stuff though. Perfect. Yo, it's $80. Actually, no, I don't want to mess with Adobe. Adobe's scary. Adobe's a big company, man. They've got like so much more than the whole Adobe suite, which is enormous, but it's not even their main business anymore. Okay, we need a simple sign. Ouch. That looks good. And it's watermarked. Okay. Whatever. We don't want WebP stuff though. We get this? And it's gonna tell me to log in. Wow. All right, cool. Let's get those in here. This, and the other guy, man boxing. Okay, sweet. And let's see where we're at here. We got the timeline consists of a background graphic, video track 1. Background on video track 1 is top left. That's going to be this dude. And then number 2 with the green screen is going to be that one. And then additional, you know what, there's so many media in nodes right now. Let's keep it simple. Can I change this one? This is Thai boxer. I hope he's Thai boxing. Muay Thai, right? Whatever. And then VR boxer. Implied in a timeline-based system is that higher numbered video tracks appear as the more forward or frontmost element in the viewer. Video track 1 is the background to all other video tracks. Video track 3 is the foreground to both video track 1 and video track 2. If using DaVinci Resolve, you can bring all 3 layers from the edit page into Fusion by creating a Fusion clip. Oh, you can select them all and bring them in all together that way. For more information on creating Fusion clips, see chapter 65, Getting Clips into Fusion. So you can drag select them all and turn them into a Fusion clip that way. That's the way that you usually would work. And then in Fusion, each video clip is represented by media in. And we're merging with, okay, so let's do that. We've got merge. And this is like extra graphic element. And go merge. Go merge. That's it. That's all we got to do. And then the delta keyer node is supposed to go in for the green screener, or the green screen. So for our VR boxer, we move these over and we use a delta keyer, delta keyer, and then the background color. We can easily select that. It's here. And that is easy peasy. And then easy. The delta keyer node is a sophisticated keyer that is capable of impressive results by combining different kinds of mats in a clean plate layer, but it can also be used very simply if the background that needs to be keyed is well lit. And once the delta keyer creates a key, it embeds the resulting alpha in its output. I know delta keyer, but is that the thing? I mean, is that what you're supposed to do, even if it's black? No. I was right idea, but don't know how to execute this one. Okay. Anyways, the delta keyer. We got the tie boxer. We have to switch these. There we go. Yeah, that's great. And then this guy, this element, we want to flip this guy. I think it's just funnier. We just want him facing, facing the other way. So I think it's simple. We just do a transform like that, and then switch those and transform. We can do the mirror, flip, horizontal. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. And then and once the delta keyer creates a key, it embeds the resulting alpha channel in its output. So in this simple case, it's the only node we need to add. It's also worth noting that although we're using the delta keyer to key a green screen, it's not limited to keying green or blue. It can do impressive keys in your image. That's what I'm saying about the other thing. Should I be doing that on the black element? I think not. I think I have the right idea that I have the white alpha mask is supposed to cut out like perfectly. I think. With the delta keyer selected, we'll use the inspector control to pull our key by quickly sampling the shade of green from the background, just like I did. Although if we go back to this, there's some spill, right? That's what it's called. Spill, balance. Pre-matte, matte. Okay, that fixes it, right? Changing the threshold seems to done the trick. We are getting some weird stuff with the goggles. Oh. I bring it to there. Or bring it there. I mean, not the blur, clean foreground. Oh yeah, also the strap there. But hey, whatever. That's alright. That looks pretty good. With the Delta keyer selected, we'll use the inspector controls to pull our key by quickly sampling the shade of green. Right. Select the green, and then the dude's on the news channel. As you drag in the viewer, an analysis of the color. Yep. We immediately see. And then when you're happy, releasing the pointer samples the color. And the inspector controls update to display the value we've chosen. No matter how good the composite may look, once you've selected the screen color to pull a key, you need to load the Delta keyer node into the viewer itself. This allows you to evaluate the quality or density of the alpha channel created by the key. Above the viewer, click the color button in the viewer toolbar, or click in the viewer and press C. If I press C, if I press C, press C. Hmm. Okay, oh, wait. Press. Oh, that's what that. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh, yeah. Back in a matte, black in a matte represents the transparent areas, while white represents the opaque areas. Gray areas represent semi-transparent. Unless you are dealing with glass, smoke, or fog, most mattes should be pure white and pure black with no gray areas. If a close examination of an alpha channels reveals some fringing in the white foreground of the mask, the Delta keyer has integrated controls for post-processing of the key and refining the matte. Following is a quick checklist of the primary adjustments to make. After making the screen selection with the eyedropper, try the following adjustments to improve the key. Adjust the gain slider. Fiddle with the controls. If you got the Delta keyer, you can go up to here, mess with. We got it to work with the threshold to take out our pieces. But if you wanted to refine the edge, you could mess with the fringe and the matte. So just the gain. Where's the gain? We got the key. Oh, so the key gain. All right. And then adjust the balance. I mean, we have a pretty clean mask here, and it's because, or matte, and it's because this the original footage was so clean. I mean, this is like a perfect background key for keying. Clicking the third of the 7 tabs of controls in the Delta keyer inspector opens up a variety of controls for manipulating the mask. Very subtly adjust the clean foreground and clean background sliders to increase the density in black and white areas. Very subtly adjust the clean foreground and clean background sliders to fill small holes in the black and white matte. The more you increase these parameters, the more harsh the edges of your matte become. So you can refine in the matte section. Like, oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. By doing that, we actually regain. This thing was missing. So it's even better now. And in the background, that does also have some effects on some of the stuff here. This is like a visor that's reflective, so it's tricky. Oh, and he's got like a really thin thing here. I think at this point, most people, I mean, it's like a movie production place. They have somebody come in if they want it perfect, like they need it even better than this. They have somebody go in and manually cut this thing out frame by frame. But like, this is so good for most cases. Much better than like the AI when it does magic mask. This is better. In this case, raising the clean foreground slider a bit eliminates the, well, magic mask is cool because it works on all backgrounds. It could be cut out of like this image where it's like there's things happening in the whole thing. In this case, raising the clean foreground fixes some of that issues that this thing happened to have. So if we look at ours is clean. Clean. Well, I guess this. I mean, maybe the shoulder arguably could be a little better there. That would cause some issues, I think. If it was like a different color background, that would show through on that shoulder there. Let's see if we can just fix that up. Background. Oh, clean foreground really was important here. What if we switch this to, what if we put in 2? What if we do like 5? Oh no. Alright, well, that looks good, but then this thing, restore fringe. And it seems like the threshold was a thing that, nah. Matte fringe, spill suppression. No. Fringe gamma? No. No. Matte, pre-matte, soft fringe. Alright, it's good to play around with these things. Reblur. Gain. Oh. The edge of like, we want those all gone, except this is still there like that. A little bit more there. Balance. Maybe it's in the balance. Oh, I think that was the thing. Such small adjustments. Balance. If we move the balance slider up, we get rid of that, but then it introduces some issues here. Sheesh. All right, that's good. Might be overthinking that. With this accomplished, we're happy with the key. So we load the merge one node back into the viewer and press C. Dealing with spill. The delta keyer can handle any screen color that may bounce off the background and land on the subject. This bounce screen light is called spill. However, instead of using one node to handle the matte creation and the spill correction, Consider disabling this in the Delta gear and remove the spill using a separate color correction node. To disable spill suppression in the Delta gear, do the following. Select the Matte tab in the inspector. From the Replace Mode drop-down menu, choose Source. This uses the color from the original source image, effectively disabling any color spill correction in the Delta gear. Spill can now be handled using a color correction node placed directly after the Delta gear or branched from the original media in or loader node and combined with a matte control. Branching the original image with one branch for the Delta gear and a second for the color correction. Then it goes into interesting. So this one media node gets keyed, and then there's also adjustments put on it, and they're put together on a matte control. I want to do that. So I have this one here. I have this guy, right? I want to try and set this up. I mean, so here's our boxer, Delta gear, and I do a transform, which is fine, but it's just, that's the tie boxer, and then we need to make room for a branch for this, for hue curves. Let's connect that. Split. This goes into a matte control, and this gets put into the foreground, fed into here. And before we look at that, let's look here. Change the hue curve so it's obvious. It doesn't have to be hue curves, right? The color corrector, right? Left hue. Okay, let's make it obvious. We're going to change his color to Hulk green. And then we got, this looks like it's set up correctly, but I think I must be okay. And these are combined in the matte control. So there's how do I do that? I think it's the same. Okay. Subtract. This fraction part is confusing for me. Masking a graphic. Bummer. We gotta keep moving though. Can't get hung up, even if it's I'll loop back. Masking a graphic. Next, it's time to work on the top video track. The news graphic that will appear to the left of the newscaster. The graphic we will use is actually a sheet of different logos, so we need to cut out the one that we want it using a mask and position it. Oh, so if you had like a bunch here, you could use a rectangle to mask it out. And with the rectangle tool, that's cool. Man. I have to plug it into the as a garbage mask. Yes. That's it. That's it. And then at this point, we could add a transform. And then we can flip this. And now it's all good. So this delta key here, right? What is the deal? The delta key here takes out the transparency though. Something about, I'm still like in the back of my head trying to figure out what the deal with this one is. Don't think I add a delta key here. But I do plug this into the garbage mat, right? Okay, screw the text for now. I plug that into the garbage mat. And can I... Luminance? Or crop, luminance, red, no. Alpha, no. Post multiply. Clip black, right? No. Coverage. I think I'm getting closer though. Closer to understanding these core concepts. They really are. The easiest way to crop, again, if we have the graphic element, if we wanted to crop a part of this, they're saying, for example's sake, you could just do it like that. Add a spline to the mask element, the mask it. So let's see, the easiest way to crop is to do it that way. All we need to do is use the on-screen controls of the rectangle mask to crop the area we want to use, dragging the position of the mask using the center handle and resizing it by dragging the top, bottom, left, right handles to how we like. As a bonus, you can take care of rounded corners when masking a graphic by using the corner radius slider in the inspector controls. Huh. That is a bonus. I want to see that. I've never used those. What if we just like throw this on border with corner radius? Oh, right there. All right. There it is. There it is. Put them all together. There's another trick that we learned the other day, which was if you want to have this own sized. Right now, this is going in this. Well, anyways, we don't want that. We want, okay. We don't need to resize it. This was just going into the wrong one. and it was resizing the display. And then, yeah, there we go. We got our work of art. For a simple over-the-shoulder graphic, it's a weird term, over-the-shoulder graphic, masking the image may be all you need to do, but masking an image does not change the actual dimensions of the graphic. It only changes the area you see. So accurately positioning the graphic based on the center of the composite becomes more difficult. And any type of match moving would give incorrect results because the graphic has a different resolution than the background. To fix this resolution mismatch, you can place a crop node after the media in to change the actual dimensions of the graphic layer. The crop exists. With the crop node selected, the viewer toolbar includes a crop tool. Oh. Ah. Oh, that is a good one to know. So after you've cut out your element, you can then add a crop, and that allows you to get more space to use it. So there's no clipping, which also would help if you wanted to add effects to it, like a drop shadow, so that drop shadow isn't like half applied or getting cut off. The resize letterbox and scale nodes also change the resolution of an image. At this point, we're pretty much done. We're all set to move the logo into place because the logo is the foreground input to a merge. You can select the merge to node, load it into the viewer, and use the built-in center X and Y controls or the on-screen controls to place the logo where you want it and make it a suitable size. Ta-da! Oh, we're done. We're done with that chapter. Oh, and then up comes rotoscoping. Oh my god, this is a big section. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. E. But I feel like, I mean, this was... Okay, we're coming up to a break soon. Maybe I shouldn't make any generalizations till we get there. And I don't need this crop. I don't need this crop. We got this here, our element plow. We got our color corrected dude that doesn't actually need to be color corrected, but the reason was so that we could see that it was working. This effect, which was our element here that we split, one for color correcting and then one for keying. Ah, this was cool. Some core concepts here. One for keying, and then we use the key as the garbage mat, which is the mat that cuts out the thing that we want cut out, and then we had to invert it. Had to cut it out there. Uh-oh, but we got, oh, okay. Oh, we got some green spillage, don't we? But what do we do? No greens. Ooh. Oh, that's causing all different types of... Ah, that's causing issues. Oh, interesting. Because now we're getting issues with the, like the recombining of these layers. Because we're combining this layer and this layer. If we were just going from here to here, to here, there's no green. But because we're recombining, we're using this to cut it out from here. Huh. So that causes all sorts of new problems that we have to deal with. So the green on this is, huh. But if we go back, why would we even do it this way? Why would we do the color correction and then use our delta keyer as the cutout? Maybe we would want to do that for something else. The example here was showing how to do it for hue curves. Don't want to put it in my mind that this is useless or like the wrong way to go about it. So I'm not sure about anything yet, but go back to this fire. We got this element. Let's add a delta keyer to it. I surrender. Let's try adding a delta keyer. Put the delta keyer on black. And I'm gonna just make another matte control. Matte control. Connect this to the background. Connect this to the garbage mat, or not. Nope. Remat, mat. Oh man, this one's really confusing me. I think this is like a off camera. I gotta study up and just watch some tutorials. Some people explain this on YouTube. Yeah, that one's, I'm stumped. Because I think it's actually an advanced technique. It's like standard, but unless you study compositing or look into compositing, you wouldn't know these things. It's not intuitive. Maybe it is. Once you learn it, then it becomes second nature. But at this point, it's a mystery. We got, what happened to our dude? Disconnected. Here you go. Huh. We just yeet. Yeet. Well, that's interesting because like it's not actually correct to have his goggles transparent here either. So it's something about our mat needs work, I guess. Our delta keyer. But if we go back to this, go back to this, go back to this as the garbage mat. So this, the green, right? Spill control. Blur gamma, is it in here? Oh, dude, it is. It's built into matte control. We just had to look around in here. Wait. So matte control has that built in for this exact reason. That's exciting. All right. Good that we're figuring these things out. Spill. Sweet. Okay. Mystery solved. Right before commercial break, too. Set it to green. Matte. Blur. No. All right. Either way. That's a pretty funny scene. Then we learned mask and graphic. Cool. All right. I think now is the time for another quick 5-minute commercial break. Then either rotoscoping or just playing around, building out some assets. We'll see. BRB. Yo, what's up? Here we are, chapter 80. Are we going to go into reading about rotoscoping or playing around with motion graphics and stuff? I don't know. I feel like I'm tempted to keep reading, actually. I don't know. I want to get through the reading. I feel like this is important theory stuff to be covering. Also, I'm taking a note that for day 16s, I gotta look into making sure that I understand the proper way to do mats. How to mat. How to do a proper mat with a white foreground and on a, they're like, yeah, how to use a white foreground, how to use a mat. Just looking at how to composite mats. How to composite mats. Just generally look into that. And what else? I mean, that's the main thing. You need to do that and then practice. But without knowing that, I won't be able to use like crypto mats or render passes that have the mats on them. Just simple mats. Okay, hold up. Let me look into this here. How to ultimate guide to compositing explosion. How to mat. Oh, this
If
is
you've looked into compositing at all, you've probably heard the term mat. But what the heck does a mat mean? What is a mat?
I don't
Easy short
know.
For Matthew. Here I have a render from Unreal Engine, and it's not that important that this is actually a render because this is actually applicable in a ton of different situations. But let's say that for whatever reason we want to change this sky. We want to put some clouds in it or something like that. What we would want ideally is for all of these things to be on different layers, and then we can just change the sky in the background and we wouldn't have to worry about, you know, tracing all these things out, putting the sky behind things and everything. Because if we have just a flat render, or if this was a shot from just a camera, you aren't going to have all those layers like you would in something like Photoshop or whatever. So how in the world do we accomplish something like this where we put some kind of thing behind other stuff in post-production? The answer is that we make a mat. So I'm going to bring up a mat for our sky. And if we look at this kind of side by side, this should look a little bit familiar. The white part is everything that's kind of blue over here. Then we have our cliffs, this little thing here, and our cliffs on the right. And then, of course, the silhouette of our ship. And so it kind of looks like a silhouette. And if we're wanting to select our sky is going to be what's white. And everything that's not our sky is going to be black. And so this is just a map for our image to tell Fusion what we want to affect and what we don't want to affect. The things that we want to affect are white, the things that we don't are black. So using this mat, we can do all kinds of magic. For instance, I can change this sky to a more interesting sky with clouds, and I don't have to trace out anything. It all works very well. That's because all of the tracing and all the fancy things have already been done for me by the mat. Okay? Now on this particular one, we also have this background ship that you might have been wondering, why isn't that in the mat? And that's because this is actually broken up with another mat and made into a layer and pasted in afterwards. But what we're really doing here is we're taking this sky and we're pasting it over our background image with just these shapes cut out. So it looks like things are in front of it, but the sky's actually in front of these foreground objects. It's just cut out perfectly around them, which kind of blows my mind. But there's so much magic you can do with a mat. So how do we make a mat? Well, it's the same way that you would create a black and white image. There are a few different ways to do it. One is you can create one with a key of some kind, like a green screen. Anytime that you do a green screen, what you're essentially doing is making a matte, and it gets rid of the green. It turns it black on this map, and your subject will be white, and then it uses that to kind of cut out your image. You could also draw this yourself with shapes. If you have something like a bright sky in the background with kind of a darker foreground, which isn't the case here, but is the case for a lot of, overcast skies and things like that, something like a shot like this, you could do something like adjust the brightness and contrast of this so that everything in this image looks dark except for the brightest part, which is the sky. And then you can use that as a matte. And that's really good for stuff like trees and things where there's a lot of detail. If it's something like this where you're trying to just adjust a car separately or put something behind a car, something that isn't as detailed on the edges, you could certainly just create your own mask with your normal kind of masking tools and make a matte that way. You could also select things with the magic mask in Fusion, which is pretty wild. You can just kind of draw on something and it'll do a pretty good job of cutting this out for you and creating a matte that way. So if you have real footage, you can do that and it does a pretty darn good job. It's pretty wild. Definitely a reason to get the studio version of Resolve, because once you have a nice matte, you can do all kinds of magic on this thing. But if you have a CG render, you can actually render mattes out from your renderer, whether it's Blender or Unreal.
Okay, but how do I do it?
So we have several different mattes that we're using. Here's a matte from the background ship. Here's a matte for the sky. And it lets us break out and isolate these elements so that I can do stuff like put a ship back in and get rid of stuff and change its rotation, edit things kind of by itself, which is really helpful if you need to fix problems in post without re-rendering. So that's kind of a little intro to mattes. Mattes are like the single most
But bro, how do we do it?
useful thing when it comes to compositing. So if you are rendering 3D, make sure to try and render mattes so that you can use them in Fusion. And don't forget all the magical things that can happen. It's a world of wonder, I would say. Hey, if you want to get a little bit deeper into compositing, we have a class for that. Make sure to check.
Bro. What? That's what they are, but how do we do it? Just how do we do it? Okay. Luma matte, right? That's what it is.
Luma mattes are an easy way to add visual effects to your videos. For example, fog over a cityscape, snow in a mountain scene, or maybe even a UFO flying over New York. And so today we're going to jump into Davinci Resolve and take a look at a bunch of different ways that you can work with Luma mattes. But first, let's take a second and understand exactly what a Luma matte is. Now, there are typically two types of Luma mattes. There's the track matte and the alpha matte. And no matter what type of matte you're using, you're basically doing the same thing. You're using a sliding grayscale to determine the transparency of certain visual elements. For example, in an alpha matte, all of the black parts of the matte will make the corresponding parts of the video clip transparent, and the white part of the alpha matte will make the corresponding part of the video clip opaque, and then anything in between black and white will have varying degrees of transparency. Track mattes work a little bit differently. The black part of a track matte will go away, revealing the video clip underneath, while the white parts will stick around to become visual elements. Now, if all of that...
So track matte here, hold up. So the type track, so track matte is not there, but can I do matte control chroma, alpha matte, delta keyer, clean plate, difference, Luma? I just saw it for a second. Luma keyer? Which one? Oh. Okay, instead of this as the delta keyer, maybe this as the Luma keyer? And then this is a garbage matte. Oh, no. Oh, wait. And then switch. Figured it out. And Luma, because this is luminance only, pretty much. I think. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it. And we could probably tweak this just a little bit. Yep. Get a yep. Yep. Yes. Oh, we did it. I did. Yes. All right, cool. Man. When we're in the grind, it doesn't feel like we're making progress, but then here we have kind of two different node tree structures with like a lot of different kind of concepts baked into it that we've made progress with today. Awesome. That's fire, man. What I'm talking about. Progress. This media in, we could just move up. Oh, because this is a pretty big. Could add a transform below it. Transform below it. Do we need two merges here? Maybe not. And the transform, we could just. The transform on this, we can move like this. There we go. Zoom, make it smaller. Yes. Actually, here, look, this is gonna be kind of cool. Oh, I got an idea. Playing around here. We'll make this here. Now let's test out our. Oh, let's get fancy with it. Let's make a magic mask. Yep. And we're gonna feed this into the magic mask and draw on our astronaut dude. Okay. Nice. And then we're gonna track back and forth because I'm starting in the middle here. So just go ahead and do that. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. And let me make sure. I remember. Gotta make sure that. Let's try half here. Render cache. Don't think fusion memory cache is on. Yeah. All right. Hopefully that kind of frees up some space, but I think. Got our And this one can just go straight on top. Right? Or do we need another merge here? Do we? Foreground. Another merge? This one's on the foreground. Yeah. Right. Not right. Not right. Not right. What do we have to do? We have to put the... This is the background, yeah? And this merges downstream? Like this? That feels wrong, but that's the result I was going for, wasn't it? Feels wrong. I mean, just like this node structure feels wrong. I do that, still feels wrong. This text, put this over here. Kind of clean this up. Is that gonna make it feel better? All right, I mean, that worked. That's the result I was going for. Let's put the rays on the fire. Where's the fire? That's the fire. I just put rays like this. It'll be this. Yeah. Oh, this is high quality stuff. It's cool. His arms look like it's going through the fire. Are these light streaks synced up? No way. Nah, this is a random light rays, I think. I mean, they're no, that's not true. These light rays are based off of the footage that's gonna be behind him. But like when his arm goes through it, I feel like it's just cool effect.
That was completely confusing to you. Hopefully some clips lined up.
No,
and ready
not
to
at
go.
all, man. That got me all the way.
Also in New York, because that's a clip of some track with these video. I've got because that super easy. So we're gonna take this position here, got some fog, them into this tool as Miller page. All right, let's come back into the edit page. Make sure we're
LumaMat. That was the thing that took me there. LumaKeyer. LumaKeyer.
Would be a black background. So
I want to write that down real quick. The LumaKeyer. LumaKeyer for mats.
we can see the city code to add. And now you can see.
Yeah, and then there's the straightforward add, subtract, multiply. If the thing you're trying to put in is white.
See that we've got a layer of fog over our city. And we can change the opacity. Let's come over here. And now we've got a little very long glitch transition. Probably not the best thing to use for a transition, but you get the idea. So that's how we use mats in the edit page. Really simple, really easy. Can use these material node. There's our fog right there. We got our fog. Now, nothing happened. You can see nothing happened. In fact, let's go ahead and add some saturation here. That looks good. And you can see the more I increase it, the more that fog shows up. And if I wanted it to maybe be black, I can bring my offset down and add matte, set that over here. And now I've got this.
Ah, that's plugging it into the masks. So that element is, so that's a luminance mask. So what's Luma here? Wait, hold up. Does this? Oh my. Nope.
Weird black smoke. Let's reset that. We'll bring our fog up just a little bit. And now we've got a nice hazy thing going on here. Another thing we can do is actually adjust this matte. So if I select this matte, come over to my key and come down and uncheck lock matte, I can adjust the height of the matte. Now, so for that, we're going to need to come back into our edit page. And what we're going to do is create a compound clip, a 12 frame cut there, hit create. We're going to do the same thing. Add another serial node. And then we'll right click, add matte, timeline mats. And we're going to find our, and if we play that, probably need to bring it a little way up. Play that again. And you've got yourself a little transition. Now, another cool thing that you can do with mats in Davinci Resolve is mountain scene. And we'll select our layer node, and we're going to right click, same thing, offset, inside this power play to translucent. So let's go ahead and bring our gain down. Particular scene visual effect, add a little bit of saturation, a little bit of timeline for offset. Okay, right click, once again dust. We've got our grunge and scratches. That's looking pretty good. Now, so far what we've been using are alpha mats, which will make an entire part of a video clip transparent while leaving the rest transparent. Serial node. Second serial node here, if I did our back and the background, for that we need a few different video layers. If you want to grab my layer node and bring the saturation up, you can see we've separated our background. Let's come back into the click, add matte, timeline mats, green screen HD. And then what we want to do is add an alpha output. So let's right click anywhere in our node area and click add alpha output.
All right. Same concepts, but for the color page. All right. We kind of got our result though. We got the result we were looking for. And we combined them. Wait, did we? What was this thing? Oh, this was something else. This is our dude boxing. VR box and the real boxer in the background. All right, cool. Where are we at? 9:30. But cool. We got what we were working on all settled for today. What else? We do something fun that's also useful in the meantime without going into the next section, leaving rotoscoping for next Thursday. I think we might want to look into elements here and build out power bin assets. I think that's what we could play around with for the next 30 minutes. Just sifting through Envato and trying to build out our own media treasure chest here. It's also, I was working on my own pre-made assets. It's just started. yesterday, and I was realizing like trying to figure out the workflow between the edit page and the Fusion page. But really it's about kind of like you designing your asset in here. You have to go and export it as a .setting file and then put it into the right folder structure in the directory here. And then you can have your own little presets and build them out, and then you have your own assets that are uniquely yours. Or design something and sell it on a marketplace. But one thing that we can do is look through, see if we can just find just footage, like some media packs. Let's see, alpha assets. Alpha assets. Ring of Fire. Think what are some alpha pack? The wrong thing. Graphic templates. Video templates. Davinci Resolve. Stock footage. Motion graphics. Here we go. We need just some general stuff to fill out our power bins. I think motion pack. Or alpha pack. I just want general stuff to build out pack with and start brainstorming ideas for some content. Got flags, like puffs and smoke, the standard stuff, right? Smoke, we've got you know what? Forget this. Let's instead, I'm gonna keep working on making my own little text animations and saving those for the next 30 minutes. So going in here, doesn't really matter where you do this. It just matters how you save it. So let's do another animation here. That was like text animation. What style? How about like from bottom to top? Whatever that would call. Bottom to top. Text that I'm kind of sticking with for now is I'm like an EXO here. At least for this channel. And then we've got bottom top, and let's have it animate in. Go to 0. I want to check what I'm in. I'm in 24 FPS. So it starts down here, and then like 12 seconds in, half a second. No, I think 6 seconds in the middle. And so here's the layout, 0.5. 0.5. 0.5. Yeah, there we go. And then here, keyframe here. It comes up. Then it disappears. All right, and we're gonna go into line editor, have our text selected, center it, select all, S. And it's gonna come up. That is, okay, so that is way too fast. You can select all, and time stretch. I think it's going to be like 24, so 30, a second and a half. And that pause here should be longer. we just might be cool. And we can also get a little motion blur. Up to like there. There we go. Is there any way to like keep this or like really flatten it? That's what I'm wondering. These don't have to be too crazy. I mean, like, kind of cool. Got like a but more. And then the trick really was to save this as a, you rename this as template. And then you can right click this, setting, save as. This is a trick for text. You save this to the desktop. And I'm gonna make a folder in the aptitude for custom text animations, I guess. Save that. All right, so you save that on, doesn't matter where you save it. Just as long as it's template, you right click and you do save as. And then at this point you can give it a name. I called it bottom up, which is a nondescript, but whatever. And you do save, right? And then you go over to effects. You can go to edit template, effects. Actually, I have a folder here. So just from wherever you saved it, you can go get it. I know it's on the, I put it on the desktop in my folder, custom text animation, bottom up. And, oops. Okay, so inside of text, I wanted to put this in here. And I can go back here and delete this by showing it the folder and manually deleting it. And then this will show up inside of the edit page. We go over here, text, yeah. Okay, sweet. It just pops right in. And then the cool thing is that, yeah, I mean, the best part about that was that we now have all of the parameters to edit inside of the edit page. And that happens because we, for whatever reason, put this as template. We wrote template as the name, and that, for whatever reason, carries over all of the parameters for editing. But and also we get the with that animation saved. So that's the way to do that. And then now go. What up? Yo, what up? And then I feel like, what else would we want? For a bunch of different text parameters, we'd want, go over here. think of another. Oh, I know one. I want to do one that's like, I have this motion in my mind about that I keep trying to reference, which is trickier here. But it's like basically cyberpunk style. That's where I've seen it before. Where it's like it kind of comes on, I guess it gets bigger, and then it like slams into place. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's type cyberpunk. You know what? Let's get a cooler font going. Trying to get into the mood. Papyrus. Rage. No. I thought I had some other cool fonts. I used to have, oh yeah, I just reinstalled. I lost all my custom fonts. I think I just saw them though. They're in, I have it backed up. I can go grab some. Fonts, here they are. Trying to find a cool one. I don't want to install them all right now. Moonshiner. Was that one cool? I think Moonshiner was a cool one. Yeah, this was pretty sweet. All these. Although it's not really cyberpunk. It is a cool font, but it's not cyberpunk. Enter the grid? That sounds like cyberpunk. It's kind of blocky, but maybe this is gonna work. Let's see. Enter E. Oh, and all right, that works. We're just gonna use ethnocentric because I think we'd have to restart to get the ones we just installed, but that's good. All right, so what am I trying to animate? Like it comes. What is cyberpunk? What is cyberpunk? I don't know, but let's try and we could reference some video. That'd probably be a good idea. Let's just jam out here. Let's say it goes from, it just appears on, fades in. Let's do a fade in. Fade in, fade. First of all, let's get this text to where we like it. Good, check this one. What were we? Ah, that's the thing with this layout. So the thing about this one is that I did customize the shading a certain way. Go here. If I'm gonna do this, I have to be consistent or else it's gonna look silly. Oh, hey, what's up, man? What's up, Creep? Creep Surfer. How you doing, man? I'm working on some, I guess, building out some templates here. with the idea that I'm realizing I gotta be consistent with the formatting. So we got, yo, what up? We'd have to be consistent with the style here through this whole this whole transition pack, or this whole text pack that we're kind of developing. So I guess maybe one way to do it is, yeah, with our main text, copy it here, open it in this Fusion comp where we're working, and I could paste it. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, time remapping in AE always felt like more intuitive. I'm trying to figure it out here now. It's tricky. Yeah. What are you doing in AE? Any fun projects? But you were saying that you were doing like what was the burnt game style, or crispy edits, or settings. I wonder if I could copy paste like these over. Time remapping's fun. I feel like that's key for like cool editing. You gotta get the timer. Gotta get it synced. This one. Gotta get it synced, and gotta get these the splines looking smooth, or however you want. I played a little bit of League before, but I don't play anymore. But you can send the example. I'll check it out. All right, let's see it. Let's check it out. Maybe I could help in some way. This shading at this. Wait, the better way is probably just to, starting from this style, build out these. So just copy and paste that. Copy this. Those. Oh, I don't want to get copy struck, but I think I see some things that he's doing. I mean, it's got style and he's got some chromatic aberration, so that's just the look of it. It's good just blocking. It's matching with the music, and then the other big thing is that I think he's adding in sound effects. That's the one thing I see. I mean, I hear is that his it's part of the game, but he might be adding it or editing it, the sound effects in to have like extra impact. And then yeah, so the particles are in there, and he's doing the mapping with the camera so that it's smooth. He's got like the smooth punch-ins, zoom outs. Yeah, so those particle effects, that's actually a big part of it, isn't it? Part of the look. So that's a big thing, and I think those particles he put some effort into. It's not like some asset. I think he's probably playing with particles in for the scene, directing them. I think. Let me see. Yeah, like that actually. That was an example right here. Does look like he's like, for this one he's having it. I think he records 2 to 3 layers with alpha channels. So you're saying like he composites it together? That's what I was reading about today. I was working on that. That's what this was. What all this stuff was today. I mean, this is not like stylized, but I was just trying to figure out like the proper way to do this, like composite in this program. But for this, because you're AE, I mean, we're looking at the particles. That's not the main point, I think. The main point, or the main part of this, is that it's good pacing. It's pretty consistent, like beat for beat. This is happening like oh man, he's like time remap. He's also changing. I know, it's like the first thing we always do is go straight to like the particles, right? But I think the main part yeah, altogether. I like the particles. Now I'm looking at the particles and that's all I can see. But but I think it's like the main I mean, it doesn't start with the particles. How about that? I'll just say that. Right? That's not where you want to start. It's where you want to end with a project like this. Like the pacing of this is cool. He's kind of barely playing the game. This is more like him doing a creative story where he cuts it with these sort of cut scenes. That's the stuff to kind of like take note of and try to, you know, that's what's really making this, is these like director cuts in here. Like, so he's kind of like telling a story. And look at that. That's like, it's like such a pixelated bird. Like there's like 6 polygons on this, but it's cool. Yeah, time remapping, man. Okay, and then because particles are so fun, it was cool. It was cool what because he'll slow them down. You think it's all composited together and then time remapped? Like that right there. Yeah. Yeah, just like technically how to do that. I don't know. I don't know where that goes in the composite sandwich. No, it wouldn't make sense for him to composite to do like a time remapping by sight, right? He's definitely compositing it and then time remapping at some point. But I don't know at what point he's adding the particles in, you know? Like usually you would not add the particles and then cut it into with the music. It just depends how you approach it, I guess. Cool. Good luck with that. I'm over here trying to just make some pop-up text for now. I gotta build out this asset pack. That's true, yeah. For high quality edits. That's one thing I was looking into, is like interpolation. You think, oh, you think he yeah, you think he's like upsampling to 240? That's like I was watching some tutorials and that was like, seemed to be the way. It was like an anime tutorial. It was like how they do their edits. I like those edits. They're like very stylized. Not big into anime, but like the editing culture inside of anime is sweet. And they had like what was they calling it? They call it like Twixter. I don't know what that means. But it was like they were figuring out how to get it so that they could get the best frame extensions. They could like get more frames in there and like get like the best looking, like the smoothest looking interpolation. So I bet that's what this dude's probably got it keyed in too. Can't you, I mean, can't you, I don't know if that doesn't look interpolated to me though. These, I don't think so. I mean, the gameplay, I think the gameplay, to be honest, that doesn't look interpolated. I think the gameplay, okay, he's probably, my guess is recording really high. I don't think he's doing a lot of frame blending here. It's just the gameplay is recorded at super high settings. I used to do this for Counter-Strike long time ago. Like 15 years ago, I used to make Counter-Strike edits. And I remember it was like, you have this scene, like this clip that you want to get. You can, since it's not playing in real time, you can crank the settings way up. And I think that's what he's doing for this game footage here. And you can get it so that it's actually like 120 FPS or 240. Even though it's slow to capture. Because I don't think he's did any blending here. This looks like regular cut. I don't know how he does this actually. Because this is like stylized as well. I know that there's a thing in Davinci Resolve called depth mask. It's like a new effect actually. And I think that's probably what he's doing. Unless there's like a scene editor mode. Over 100. No, I know. And the replay's FPS was jumping. Yeah, so I don't think this is... I mean, I remember in Counter-Strike there was the replay viewer. Is there something like that for League of Legends where you can just like be in your own scene and replay it and it will capture at whatever settings you want? I've heard. Yeah, so they might not have a replay capture thing. So it has to be recorded in real time. I mean, yeah, that's like, you don't necessarily want to get hung up on those things. It's like what we're talking about now, it's the fun stuff to talk about, but again, just be careful not to get hung up on like not being able to get the absolute, you know, like 600 FPS recordings. Because it sounds like League of Legends doesn't have like a way to step through to capture. It needs to like capture in real time. In which case you have to like go out and get a supercomputer with a capture card, and that all of a sudden is a limit. So you don't have to do that, especially when you're trying to learn like this stuff. Dude, I don't care. I'm trying to like get familiar with this. I'm doing this at like 24 FPS just to save frame rate. It's 1080 because I'm streaming. Like for me, that's okay. Like you don't need this doesn't need to be like 120 FPS 4K motion graphics that I'm designing on a stream, is all I'm saying. Just trying to get through the whole thing, and then you'll be able to like take it to the next level. The fog, yeah, so I know. So I think what's happening here is inside of, he might be using Davinci Resolve, or in After Effects there might be this effect where it's let me try and find, if I apply, okay, let's just see. I'm gonna try, this might blow up this comp, but I'm gonna try and put a what is it, fog, volume fog. I think it's actually called fog. No, there might be another one. Cloud, point cloud. No, I know about this, but I'm not sure which one it is. Fog 3D. I think it'd be fog 3D. I'm trying to put this in here. That's all good. The fog depth, I forget what its name. It's like depth Davinci Resolve depth map. That's what it's called. Depth map, depth blur, depth map. This one. Loading. So this is like a really, yeah, there it is. I think this is what he's doing. I think. Again, I'm not familiar with League of Legends editing, so I don't know if there's like different tools, but I think it looks like something like this. It's either like this is this. I think it's depth map because usually the way it's used is like it can determine what's close and make it white, and like what's further away and make it black. And you can get the settings right. And it's meant to be used where it's like, yeah. Yeah, no, that's what it's meant to be used with though, is like for depth of blur. It's supposed to be made like here. This one? Oh, those. Oh, that's just like ray. That's ray marks. I have that in here. Look. But wait, I want to just say that this is like maybe what he's doing. It's called depth map, and it's meant to be used with blur. So it's like this. You would do like the stuff in the black is blurry, and the stuff in white is in focus, and you can change the settings to be more extreme or less extreme. But the light streaks here, that's just that's regular old like in Davinci Resolve they call it rays. But it's just like I mean that should be like, what's it called in After Effects? Rays. Light rays in After Effects. That's a pretty standard thing, I think. See, it's called CC light rays. It looks like there's one. CC light rays. You could turn this up. And same deal. Ah. Ah. I'll just mess around here. But yeah, that's the light rays. He's applying that. I think he's got depth of field there with different levels of blur that he's using, and then he's got light rays. And the whole thing about this style is that you like kind of like flash on some of these effects with the music. Depends how he's like combining them together. Yeah, man, there's quite a few things here to just mess around with. See if you can get a cool look here and there, and then combine it. But still, I do think the main thing is just like go through first and try to edit the whole thing before you get to the stage of like adding the special effects and the particles. Because then you have like the whole layout of how it goes. That's just like a good place to approach from. Good luck, man. I'm heading out for today. Myself, I'm gonna be back probably on next Thursday. So in 2 days. So thanks for stopping by, dude. I'll see you.